Karate Kid, and now they're ready to earn their black belt. So I'm going to call them one at a time. First up, Nick Malinsky. All right, now Ron Harmon. So just want to take a moment to introduce each one of our candidates. I guess we can start on the far end. We have Cameron Penns. All right, let's give Cameron a round of applause. Then we have Grace Wright. Let's give Grace a round of applause. Then we have Nick Smolinski. Let's give Nick a round of applause. And of course, we have Robbie Hartman. Let's give him a round of applause as well. So throughout the course of today, you'll have an opportunity to cheer each other on and really just be excited for these candidates. This is something that's special, and one of the things that I always tell the students and parents, that you notice something when they earn their black belt, like a switch kind of flips and they change into like a different person. And I was actually talking to Robbie's grandparents before, and Grandma was saying, "Oh, don't you remember when Robbie first started karate?" I'm like, "Well, you have to kind of remind me." I'm thinking in my head, but she says, "Yeah, we get started for Christmas when he was about 7 years old." You said, "Yeah, 7 years old." So it's about that time, and just think about how much he's changed. I mean, obviously grown, right, from a young boy, and I think he was about this tall when he started. So basically doubled in size and probably eating about 4 times the amount of food. But just immaturity, and that's just one of the the great things that we see with our students, and that goes for every single one. If I were to talk to the parents and talk to the students, we'll get a chance to know them a little bit. They'll tell you similar stories. Their kids have changed, and they're just different. So we're just hoping that through this experience, through their martial arts training, through the friendships that they made, that it helps them later in life, and they'll look back on this time as something that was really special. You know what I mean? This is like that time. I wish we could just freeze forever. I'm sure that there's moments in your own kids' lives that it's like so important, and you just love it, and you just every time we think about it, it's like, wow, I remember that moment, and this is one of those moments. Let's make sure we give them a round of applause. Yeah. And then we're going to call up our students individually. Our first is going to be Nick Smolinski. So why don't you walk off to the side? All right, first candidate, Nick Smolinski. We're going to ask him a couple questions, maybe get to know each other a little bit more. So Nick, I want you to think back. How old do you think you were when you first started karate? 3 years old, without even hesitating. Remembers being 3 years old. So what is your, maybe your earliest memory of karate? So when you think back to when you were a little kid, what do you think, what do you remember the most?
Well, I think the first thing I remember is I was yellow belt, and I just hear Sensei like keep on talking like, wow, this is very interesting.
So kind of, very curious and excited about karate when you first started. So what was your favorite thing, growing up about karate? What did you enjoy the most?
I enjoyed learning moves and different types of techniques and especially tricks.
Okay. Now, let me ask you, what made you try to stay and earn your black belt?
Well, I thought it would show that I can be disciplined and I can work very hard to reach my goals.
Okay, that sounds good. Now, what does it feel like being the second person in your family to earn the black belt?
I feel very happy and excited.
Happy, excited. So, if anybody doesn't know, Nick has a sister. You want to introduce her?
Right there, Lexi.
That's Lexi. So Lexi is also one of our black belts, and they actually train together. So this is a special moment because I think she might have been part of your inspiration. Maybe watching your older sister perform and to earn her black belt kind of inspire you and motivate you. And the nice thing about that, about having a family member, is they get to encourage you along the way. And when there's any self-doubt, and any times where you kind of might lose your confidence a little bit or self-esteem, you have your family members, especially a sister who's earned their black belt, kind of help you out. Let's make sure we give them a round of applause. Let's call for our next performer, and that's going to be Robbie Hartman. So Robbie, we came kind of talk about your story a little bit. So about 7 years old when you first started. So I heard grandmom's story, but I want to hear your story. So what do you remember the most about karate training when you first started? What's your earliest memory?
Like when I first started sparring, there was the other sensei like there, and I just remember having a really good time.
So you enjoy your sparring training? Okay. So what made you stick with karate through all the years?
The people here and this, I just really like the sport and all the people here.
So you mentioned the people here. One thing I notice about certain students, I notice about Robbie, is when he walks through the door, like his face lights up when he sees the other kids. And I'm sure the same happens for school. So the kids got a greater sense of what the other students mean to them. I see Robbie come in and he just lights up, and he gets so excited. He gets to see his friends, he gets to hang out, and he gets to train. And the great thing about it is they're all working on improving themselves. Nick brought up discipline. That's an important part of our training, self-control, but just that maturity too, and just a sense of a good self-esteem and confidence that the kids are really building up themselves has been really important. So let's make sure we give Robbie a round of applause. And our next performer is going to be Cameron Penns. So, tell us about your family. How many brothers do you have?
I have two older brothers, one who is here currently, and the other one will be on his way shortly.
Okay, so two older brothers. So, I remember when your parents, or your actually mom, first brought you in, and I think Connor was the first one that started karate, right? I'm pretty sure Connor was the first one who started karate, and then he took a little break, and then all the kids came, and then eventually all the kids started coming to class and started training. So I want you to think back to when you were really a beginner, a student, or your first memory. First of all, how old were you when you first started training? Remember?
I think I was like 6, 7, 8 years old.
6, 7, 8, about that time. Yeah, mom's giving the nod and the heads up. Yeah. So what do you remember the most about coming when you were a little kid?
I just remember seeing all the friendly faces and being welcomed into group karate.
Seeing a lot of friendly faces. I do definitely remember that for sure. So, if you could give one piece of advice to anybody who's maybe hasn't started karate yet, or maybe that's a student that wants to earn their black belt, what would you tell them?
Keep going for your dreams, and you'll eventually make it, and it'll be worth it in the end.
Yeah, so I hope that you'll take your own advice as you go through. And you know, again, each one of these kids to me is very, very special. You know, I told them in the other room, I said, you know, just do your best, work hard, I love you. You know what I mean? Like I think of these kids as my own kids. I'm sure that you know it here. And just seeing them grow up and mature and seeing them become successful, I mean, that just makes me feel really good. And you know, just that we can help all these kids to become successful in life. I think we'll be in a good spot, and I think the parents will be proud and they'll be happy, and everybody will be able to enjoy. So the idea here is, it's not the time now, it's later. You know, because there's going to be a tough time in their lives. You know, when they have 4 finals. You know, the professor in college is being tough. They have other obligations. Maybe they're working. The roommates being difficult, whatever it is. But they're going to be able to persevere through it. They just have to get themselves mentally, straight, and then try to find a way to make sure they work their way through it. But I know they can do it. So Cameron, how does it feel to be going through black belt for the second time? So you're a junior black belt now, going to earn your senior black belt.
It feels really good, honestly. At first, when I was getting my junior black belt, it was tough, but I made it in the end. I was like, I'll go for my second one too.
Sounds great. Let's give a round of applause. We're going to have our last individual performance, Ms. Grace Wright. So, how old were you when you first started training? 3 or 4, okay. And what do you remember the most, or what sticks out in your mind about your earliest training? So when you think about when you're little, what do you think about karate? Tough one. Man, that's the first time I've ever heard her quiet in her life. I'm not laughing. Wow. So here's the trick. When she's at home and they're jibber jabber and going back and forth, ask her like a brain teaser question, and then Grace will say. Well, anyway, so think about your, when you first started, your brother started karate first, right?
Yeah.
So do you remember watching you in class and mom driving you to class? So when did you start? After watching Michael a couple times, you just say, I want to do karate?
Yeah.
That's cool. So let me ask you this. Your brother gets his black belt, you're sitting in those chairs. Did you think, I can do this?
Yeah.
Okay, what made you stick with it to this point?
I stuck with it, seeing my brother doing it, so then I kind of just put my mind to it and achieved my goal.
That's pretty awesome. Now I'll ask you maybe a couple more questions if you don't mind. So being a young lady, it's tough in the world. I'm sure all the moms and the dads out there, they like to raise a strong, confident young lady. And just from a parent's perspective, having your young lady be able to defend themselves and to be confident to stand up for themselves is a really important skill. I know I sleep better at nighttime, and I'm sure that you'll feel better about yourself. Now, how do you feel like going to school? Do you feel like you can defend yourself if somebody were to even call you names or to give you a hard time?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what. So one thing I do know is that Grace takes a lot of this stuff and she brings it onto the soccer field. So she takes. There's something about kids doing martial arts and then playing sports. Even Sophia's the same way, especially in girls, because girls definitely normally are more quiet and shy and reserved. And when they go out to the soccer field, a lot of them are just too polite. That's what a lot of coaches say. But man, I hear stories about Grace, she's taking a licking and she just keeps on going. She just ran into this kid just ran her over, she got back up and she's going. And Sophia's the same way, but I think part of it's because you know, being a younger sibling, first of all, makes you tougher. If you don't know that, ask Cameron, because his older brothers were probably beating up on him when he was a little baby, right? You know, they're rough, and they just have fun. They love the kids, but they're just rough when they play. And, you know, being the youngest sibling, I think you have the most advantage. You're tougher, you've seen your older siblings be successful, and now it's like, wow, you can shine. But as far as, you know, sports go, I think, you know, having that black belt, it's important because, you know, they go against big kids in sparring class. You know, imagine Grace sparring against Robbie and Cameron. They're twice her size, 3 times her size, but she's not afraid of them. You know, number one, they have good self-control and self-discipline. They're not there to hurt her, but it's also meant to build up confidence. I think a lot of parents, you know, are afraid to get their kids, you know, started with sparring because they're afraid of the kids getting hurt. Well, in life, you know, you're going to be in situations where people are going to be mean to you. They're going to be difficult situations, and if we don't ever put those kids in those situations, they're never going to learn how to be successful in them. And I'll tell you what, like, you know, Grace, especially here, being the youngest, I would say, and being a young lady, you know, she's able to hang with the boys, and that's perfect. That's what we want to have. And, you know, I feel really great and feel confident having her going forward, being able to stand up for herself, and really being successful as well. So let's make sure we give Grace a round of applause. We have a couple more things that we're going to do. So we're going to do a little self-defense demonstration for you. So we're going to call up each one of the candidates in the order that they performed. And then after they're done that, they're going to do we'll actually do the team con first, then the self-defense, and then we're going to do the group con. So why don't we do the American 6 first? So why don't we slide forward a little bit, right about there. Perfect. So we're going to do this without music, so ready, get that chance. Ready, American 6.
American 6.
Citation. And go.
Aya. 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 Aya.
All right, let's give a round of applause for that. And so Cameron and Robbie, why don't you step back off to the side first, and let's have Nick Smolinski do a self-defense technique. So why don't you face each other and bow to each other as a sign of respect. All right, Grace, funny take position. Ready, Nick, we're ready to go. All right, round of applause, good job. Robbie, Martin, next. Okay, face each other and bow. All right, Cameron, get your attacking position. And go ahead, go. All right, round of applause. Cameron's going to do the technique now, so why don't you put it off to the side. Robbie, funny position. Yeah, go. All right, round of applause. You got it. And then Grace, you're up. All right, round of applause. Good job. All right, so what we're going to do this lineup for our team performance. Okay? So get to your spot where you need to walk up.
Aya.
first graduate, Nick Smolinski. That's okay, whatever you do, if you look younger, it's fine. All right, good job. Good to round of applause. Good job. All right, Robbie Hartman. All right, let's give Robbie a round of applause. Good job. Cameron Penn. All right, let's give a round of applause. Good job.
It's too small.
You gotta get bigger hands. So with that, we're planning to come back out. Come up, please. Right about there. All right, parents, so first of all, just want to let these students know how proud we are of them. Just a little more, please. Thanks. You know, like I said, we're so proud of them, extremely proud. There's so many things that are going on in the world, and it's been really a challenge for every single person. I don't know one person I've ever run into that hasn't been, nervous, anxious, whatever, by COVID, and it's making our students here resilient. They kept on practicing, they kept on working. They didn't sit around and do nothing. They just kept on staying the course and kept their goals, in front of them and kept on working towards them. And that's what we really want to see. We're just trying to help our students become successful, in life. And I know that for me, I feel like, we lost 2 years of our lives. You know what I mean? Like, just little tiny things that when we do like kids that didn't have that opportunity, even for a lot of you, like, big vacations. You might have gone to like the beach here or there, but a lot of us are missing out on fun family stuff. So hopefully this is something that our kids will remember and they'll cherish and they'll enjoy and they'll have good memories about it. And this belt here today, it should mean something different to each person. It represents a lot of different things. Maybe it represents all the times, Cameron, that you were inspiring and maybe you might have been intimidated by your brothers, right? But you kept on going, you didn't stop, you didn't quit. Well, look at you now. You hold your head up high, and I think you'll be the biggest one out of all of them, and they'll be scared of you. So for all those years that the older brothers were picking on you, I feel bad for them now. They're just gonna come back to haunt you. And for Grace, maybe this represents the confidence that she needs to excel as a young lady, because, we teach our girls to be quiet, to be timid, and to be shy, unfortunately, sometimes. And, in order for our girls to have an opportunity to be successful in life, they have to push and work harder a little bit more than the boys sometimes, just to be given an opportunity. So hopefully that represents the success you have in life. For Nick, you brought up a real excellent word, you said discipline. And, maybe this represents the discipline that you need to stay focused on your work, stay focused on your goals, and again, just to be successful in life. And for Robbie, I don't know, this belt could mean a number of things. But how about maturity? How about friendship? How about, being empathetic towards others? I brought up a story that every time I see you come in, you just get so excited. I see that smile on your face. When Robbie was giving his belt, I asked, I know the one grandmother, I don't know the other. I said, oh, who's that? Now I know where he gets a smile from. It's from this grandmother here. She said, the blonde one? I'm like, yeah, the blonde one. Because I saw her smiling when he got his belt, and he smiles that way every time he comes in to get it, to come to karate class. So it must be a family thing. Like they see my son looks exactly like me, and he has a lot of the same face expressions. He just must run in the family, but I just think it's cool. So whatever that black belt symbolizes for you, just never forget it. You know what I mean? Even every time you put it on your waist, let that be a reminder. Because I think sometimes we get so caught up in life and we forget why we do things. We forget what things are important or most important. And it's not until, like something bad happens a lot of times, that we don't think about that. So just be thankful. Every time I walk through that door, I'm just so happy to be here. And not because it's quiet or not because there's nobody here, but because I look forward to whoever's going to be coming to class that day. And when I tell you that, I mean it. Because, without you, I think I would be lonely. I'm a people person myself. I love being with you guys. I love being with your families. I love talking to all of them and learning about you. And I love hearing their stories about you. And, you might not think that, we absorb all these things, but I'll listen. Because when I talk to you and when we work with you, I say, hey, we need to work on this with this person because I talked to mom. We need to work on this with this person because I talked to dad. Or, I talked to the students in particular and they were mentioning that they were struggling with this. A lot of our lessons we tailor in our class, based on the feedback that we give. We don't really know that, but that's how we think. Just know that we're always here on your side and we're a part of your team. So whether you're now here as a black belt or 10 years from now, we're here for you. So you just let us know where we're at, right? So we're going to take this moment to say thank you to our families, first of all, before we go on. So thank you for just, sticking with them and for pushing them. And I know that I wouldn't be able to be here without my parents pushing me, and my mom believing in me, and my dad believing in me. Because there's times where I just experienced self-doubt like all of you have. And I didn't feel like I was good enough or worthy enough to think that I could do it. And it was my parents that could see it. So you have a team of people that believe in you. All right? And when they're encouraging you, they're not trying to be mean. When they're encouraging you, they're not trying to push you. They just know what you're capable of doing. And they can see better than you can see. And they know that if you stick with things and you keep on going, then you're going to be successful in what you do. All right? So a lot of times, we become resentful towards our family for pushing us, and they're not pushing you. They just see something in you and they know you can do it. And I think if you were to give up and just not trying, you'd be more regretful. I think I'd be more mad at my parents if they gave up on me. Mom, why didn't you push me more? Instead of, I was now I'm thankful. Mom, thank you so much. Dad, thank you so much. So let's remove our old belts and assume the kneeling position. We're going to fold our belt. Fold our belt again. Bow down and wipe the sweat to our new belts. Let's put our new belts on and let's congratulate our new black belt. Give a round of applause. What we'll do is we'll put our belts on. We'll officially bow to everybody. And then what we'll do is we're going to take some pictures and we'll be available for individual pictures. But I dialed up the weather for you. It'll be nice and sunny and beautiful, so that you'll be able to spend the time with your family. Maybe do something as a nice holiday family celebration for everybody. So let's bow. Let's give a round of applause. We want to thank everybody for coming and for being here. And we just want to let you know that every single person in this place, you played a part in these kids' success, and hopefully you all get to enjoy it as well. I know that when my kids do something, I really feel like, it's a special moment, and I get to enjoy it. And they might not realize it, at this moment, because they are so young, but I'm sure that it's something you'll cherish forever. Save those pictures, and just talk about it. But remember, Cameron, he stuck with it. Now he earned his senior black belt. He's getting ready for his first street black belt, which is fantastic. And for everybody else here, welcome to the team, Sensei Grace, Sensei Nick, Sensei Robbie. How's that sound? Sounds cool, huh? Are you gonna help the other kids now? Yeah, that sounds like a good idea, right, Nick? You can help some of the other kids. Grace. Cameron's always been a big help, so we appreciate it. So let's give him a warm round of applause. And then we'll get ready to pose for a picture, okay? For a picture. If parents could come on out, we would try to one of these, some of this.